Today I'm going to paint a skull. I've got a secondary light source where I used a little red LED, and the primary light source is another LED with a white light. Here's a close-up. You can see how bright that red light is on the right side of the skull. I really want to maintain the vibrancy of that when I do this painting. All right, so some quick notes on vibrancy. If I want an orange, red, orange, whatever, could be any color, any vibrant color. In this particular case, I'm going to use a fairly bright version of red orange. And let's put that straight on our panel. Okay, so that is a certain value. And it is let's say I want a lighter value than that. Say I want to knock that back by about 50% in value. One way to do it is to add some white to it. Okay. And so adding white makes it a lighter value, as we are aware. The other thing the white does, though, unfortunately, or fortunately, I mean, if this may be the effect you want, you might want a color like this. It also desaturates it. So darker, more saturated, lighter, less saturated. Now, if we want to maintain a little bit more saturation, a little bit more of our vibrancy, what we can use is liquid. Liquid is a product made by by Winsor Newton, and it's a synthetic paint medium. I think it's an alkyd-based paint medium, I believe. And if I mix a bit of my orange with that, what I can do is use the white of my substrate to do my lightning for me. Okay. So this makes for a lighter value, but you can see it has a completely different character than what we mixed with white. It's a little bit more vibrant. Add a little bit more paint to that, I think. Add a little bit more paint to the mix, get a little bit more vibrancy back. So we can approach the same value, yet maintain some of our vibrancy. And the reason that happens is this. I made this little diagram a little bit earlier. Okay, we can see that if this is a side view, a magnified side view of our paint film, these little X's are particles of pigment suspended in the liquid. Over here, we'll call this like pure paint. This is white mixed with some orange. Well, what happens when you have this, it's very opaque. The light comes in, it hits the surface, and it bounces back. All right. When you have the pigment suspended in a transparent or translucent medium, the light goes through that medium, hits the white ground, and bounces back off of that. So you have light passing through a little bit less pigment, but it's infusing that pigment with more light. So you're getting a lighter value, but you're keeping more of your vibrancy that you have in your original color. So back to our skull painting. I start by mixing some mineral spirits with my cad red light, and I do a quick layout. Then I mix up some red orange using cad red light and cad lemon yellow. I add a little bit of liquid to that and block that in. For the rest of the skull, I use a cool gray based on green. I use cobalt blue and cad lemon yellow to mix a green, and then I dull that down with some cad red medium. Next, I need some chromatic black, so I use cad red medium and cobalt blue and mix a really dark violet, which I then desaturate with a little bit of yellow. Then it's just a matter of blocking in the rest of the skull. I start with the dark values in the eye sockets and the nose and work my way back from that. The core shadows are generally going to be the darkest and coolest grays, and the lit areas are going to be my lighter values. I want to get some dark background around this thing as quickly as I can so I can judge the values that are in the skull a little bit more effectively. While I'm painting, I want to be really careful not to touch that orange reflected light. I don't want to muddy it up with any of my other colors. I want to keep it nice and clean and vibrant. Now it's just a matter of painting in the rest of my skull. I'm going back and forth between the different values of gray, and I'm getting that sort of reddish cast shadow in on the surface. These neutral colors I'm using for the rest of the skull are really going to help me sell the idea that that secondary light source is really vibrant. It's also really helpful that I have a black background. I've found in my time being a sign painter that anytime you put black next to a bright color, it really makes it look quite a bit brighter. I hit a few more highlights and some more dark accents, and I decided to call it a day.